All right, I think we are. I think we're live here. What's going on, guys? Let's see here. See if we're live. Oh, we should be live now. All right, guys. What's going on, everybody? How are you guys doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great. What's today? Thursday. We've got some questions. This time, I'm going to start off with going through the questions that we have already in the Facebook group, just to knock those out. So, if you're watching the replay of this, I'm going to hit those here in a second. We don't have anybody on yet, so we are all good. That's kind of why I wanted to do it, because I wanted to start this presentation early, so that if you're here live, you guys can get my full attention. So let's go ahead and hop on here and start answering some questions. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Let me share my screen here with you guys. Cool. All right. So anything after, what is this? Kill a closer, not a Mothman. Lynn, I think you're in the wrong Facebook group. I'm excited to be a part of this group. Oh, Lynn, you're in the wrong that's why. Okay, Lynn, and this is not Lynn, Kwai. I've actually talked to you on the phone, Kwai. Kwai, you should be in the Surplus Fund Mastery Facebook group, number 1. So I didn't even know this was happening. This is important. I'm going to send you the link for the other one. It's funny because when you talked, you said you joined the Facebook group, and I was so confused. I was like, I didn't see you in there. I mean, we have a lot of people in here, but. Hey, Kwai. Group. This one for Surplus Fund Mastery. I cannot spell surplus. All right. Cool. Okay. Let's see here. 2 weeks ago. I think I already answered all these ones. Cool. Okay. So. Kwai, yes, you're in the wrong Facebook group. You can still be in this one. I don't think there's a problem with that. But you should be in the Surplus Fund Mastery Facebook group, because this is where everything actually goes down. If you're in Surplus Fund Mastery, so you should be in that one. I just commented to the link for you there. Not a Mothman. Good. Tamara, I read that it takes about 120 days to get a check in the mail from being an investigator for unclaimed property in California, with the exception of bonds/securities. Does it also take around 120 days to receive surplus funds? What's the timeline? So typically the timeline for recovering surplus funds, Tamara, is we've seen it take as little as 5 weeks. We've seen it take as much as 6 to 7 months. There is no rhyme or reason. I wish there was. I wish I could give you like a clean, because I'm a very analytical pattern person. It's not, unfortunately, it's not like that. Like there's no. The only reason why it would take longer or less time is strictly down to, with surplus funds, the trustee company and how quickly they are to get things done for you, and then your attorney as well. But if you're in the Surplus Fund Master, we actually give you an attorney. If not, you have to get your own. But yeah, so typically between 5 weeks and 6 months is the timeline that we see. There's some variances in that, but on average, it takes about 8 to 12 weeks is what we've seen. What is the difference between the two? Okay, that's a great question, Adriana. What I'm going to do here, check this out. I'm going to bring up this awesome whiteboard. Can you guys hear me, by the way? Give me a 2 if you guys can hear me. I want to make sure you guys can hear me. Apparently there's like a car alarm going off back there. It's not good. Okay, so Adriana, you asked here, what is the difference between the two surplus funds and state funds? So you've got surplus over here, and you've got state over here. Now, at the end of the day, everything becomes a state fund if it doesn't get recovered, okay? So if this does not get recovered, it's gonna end up over here, okay? But a surplus fund, in what we typically call a surplus fund, is when a house goes to foreclosure, okay, gets foreclosed on, and there's an amount, let's say that the loan foreclosing or the mortgage foreclosing is $100K, and the house sells for $200K, okay? And so basically, dude, that car alarm is really annoying. Oh my God. By the way, if you guys don't know, we're actually moving offices to, oh, there we go. Ooh, I'm gonna get a headache on here. So it sells for $200K, there's a mortgage on it for $100K, meaning there's $100,000 in excess funds, excess proceeds, or how we call it, surplus funds. That's what surplus funds is. State funds This could be a state fund if it never got recovered. After 3 years in California, it gets sent to the state, and every state's different. Some states it takes like 3 months to get sent to the state. Some states there is no real guideline; it just eventually gets sent to the state, or maybe it doesn't. But at the end of the day, it'll end up being a state fund at some point if it does not get recovered in this stage. Okay. Dude, what is going on out there? Jesus, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's ridiculous. Anyways. So state funds, though, are not just foreclosure related. They can be related to anything. So as, who was it that mentioned this here? Tamara mentioned, bonds and securities is another way that people can have money owed to them from the state, okay? Another big one is like life insurance, okay? Stocks, dividends, that's bonds and securities, I should say. But there's a bunch of different ways why you might be owed money from the state. And technically, it's not from the state. The state doesn't really owe you anything. They're just holding on to it for you because you lost it. And so that's the idea of state funds. So at the end of the day, surplus funds will eventually become state funds in most states. But surplus funds is specifically when there was a foreclosure and the foreclosure goes over asking price at the auction, meaning it goes over the foreclosing loan amount. And that creates a surplus fund. And if that surplus fund does not get recovered, after a while it becomes a state fund. And there's a bunch of different ways that you can have a state fund. Keep zooming out. Okay, cool. All right, Roland says he can hear me. Cool. As long as one person can hear me, that's the important thing. All right. So Adriana, hopefully that answers your question. And guys, if you guys are on live, I will come and do your guys' questions too in a second. I want to just knock these ones out because there's not a ton of them. And yeah. All right, Nelson says, I'm in California. I found 3 types of list, Excel sheet, and what is my next step? Your support team suggests try the 14-day trial. And can you tell me how your 14-day trial works? Thank you. Okay, Nelson, you need to make the decision of whether you want to do surplus funds or state funds. So we just talked about this. Do you want to do surplus funds? Do you want to do state funds? Okay. You went on the California website. You probably went to a website that looked like something like this. And you probably downloaded this sheet right here. I'm not going to do it right now because it's going to take forever. But you probably downloaded that, and it gave you a ginormous spreadsheet, okay, which is great. Now, that is state funds, okay? And if you're a beginner, that's what I recommend you start with. If that's what you're going to start with, you do not need really anything else from me. You don't need our 14-day trial. Our 14-day trial for surplus lists will give you leads for surplus funds, which is different, as we described earlier. So if you're going to do state funds, just use the leads you called. Use a reverse lookup like True People Search, okay, or Free People Search, and both of those are free. A little more expensive is Spokio. It's like $30 a month or something like that. I know that doesn't spell Spokio, but it's close enough. That's disgusting. I'm gonna get rid of that. So basically, you want to take those leads on that list, use a reverse lookup, and then contact those people and try to recover some funds from them. Obviously, you need to make sure you're registered with the state too, because it doesn't matter if you're not. So that's what I recommend. Now, if you want to get Surplus Fund Master, you can. Just so you guys know, the Private Investigator Program, the course you guys have, if you guys have not bought Surplus Fund Mastery, that program was the like 0.000001 early alpha version of the current Surplus Fund Mastery. So like that program has like 30 minutes worth of content on state funds. Our current Surplus Fund Mastery has like, I don't know, at least 6 hours of state funds content, plus another like 10, 12 hours on surplus funds, plus another probably 15 hours or so on sales and marketing and how to actually get deals and all that. So yeah, but you guys have the Private Investigator course, which is like our beta testing version of it. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, Kawhi says we'll attend. Awesome, Kawhi. Hopefully you're here. And let's see here, 2 comments. Yeah, that was the same one. Okay, so we will do live questions then. I want to double check, make sure I didn't miss anything. Again, Kawhi, make sure you hop in this Facebook group because you're in the wrong one. Although you're more than welcome to stay in this one as well, but you need to be in the other one because it's where all the surplus warriors are at. And let's do some questions. So if you guys have any questions in the live chat, let me know. I am more than happy to answer your questions. And if we don't have any live questions today, then we will just end it there. And it'll be a short one, but I will be on here as long as you guys want. So just let me know how I can be of assistance today. I want to answer as many. Okay, good. Kawhi is on here. There you go, Kawhi. Kawhi, I'm approving you right now. Normally our staff goes in and does it, but because I know you want to get in the right Facebook group, I got you in there, Kawhi. By the way, it was a pleasure speaking with you on the phone the other day. All right, guys. Again, I'm going to give you guys like 2 minutes to ask questions, and if we don't have any, then we'll call it a day. I know Roland's on here. It's your chance, guys. All right, guys. Going once, going twice. Again, it's your one and only chance. Oh, Adriana. What's up, Adriana? How are you? Submitted paperwork to the state to register as an investigator, but how long does it take to hear back? Adriana, what state did you submit it with? Did you submit it with California? Because depending on when you submitted it, but you probably should have already heard back by now. They usually take like 1 business day if you email it in to get. We haven't seen it go more than like 2 or 3. So unless you submitted it like an hour ago, California. Yeah, you should have heard back if you submitted it more than a couple days ago. Now, if you mailed it in, might take a week or 2 weeks. I don't know. But I really highly recommend you just email it in because you can literally get approved in like a day or 2. And if they don't get back to you, just email them back. But yeah, so that should answer that, Adriana. Cool. All right, guys, any other questions? Going once, going twice. It's your chance, guys. It's Netflix coaching right here. Less than the price of Netflix. You get to ask me any question you want. That's a pretty good deal, in my humble opinion. Pretty good deal. Here we go. For the California State Fund, the contract from the state should be printed on a yellow paper, so it should be mailed to the claimant, since I think original signature is required. So yes and no, Roland. Like, what we figured out is, this is where I wish David was on here, but he's not really involved with this. But there's different scenarios. So depending on the scenario, you'll need a different contract. They provide you with all the contracts in there, but at the end of the day, yes, you cannot. I'll say this for a fact: you cannot do digital signatures. So don't do that. But I believe you can email them the contracts and have them print out and sign it. Although, again, I know there is a scenario, I don't know off the top of my head, where you do have to have a yellow contract. But we have not really had any issues with that. So I don't know what to tell you there, my friend. Adriana says, okay, cool. I emailed it yesterday, and I'm eager to start contacting you. Awesome, Adriana. Well, yeah, you should hear back then. Latest would be like Monday. Like, I don't think you would have to wait any longer than that. If you don't hear by them by like Monday night, like Tuesday, I'd email them. BizTech. How to register with the different states. Well, dude, basically all you're going to do is you're going to type in the state that you want to register in. So, like, what's a good state? Maine. Maine unclaimed property. Okay. Maine unclaimed property official website. It's a .gov, so I'm going to assume it's them. They got $246 million. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to scroll down, and we're going to go to FAQs. Okay, and the reason why I go to FAQs is because they try to hide this stuff a lot of times, and so sometimes it's hard to find. Okay, California makes it very easy. Claiming property. Here we go. And then you'll see, I want to show you guys something too that just know, like, every state says this, but they're ridiculous. Okay, here we go. Where is this? Where do I find? Why didn't anyone contact me? Okay. Let's see here. Reporting, claiming property. Forms. The other place you can look is forms. And if you can't find it, you know what I'm going to do? Check this out. Well, I can't show you guys this because this is for Surplus Fund Mastery members, unfortunately. I can't give you guys this one. But if you're in Surplus Fund Mastery, you guys can, actually I can show you guys this, it's fine. So I went on the main website here. This is the home page. Oh, no, not what I wanted. This was the home page. All I did was I searched Google, BizTech, for state that I want to look up, unclaimed property. First link that came up was their main website. Okay, first place you want to check, you want to scroll down to the bottom, you want to look at FAQs. Okay, on here, you can usually find on different states. Some states you can find they'll talk about like asset locators or private investigators, like in California, or unclaimed property investigators, or they have a bunch. Every state has like a different name for it. It seems like, but you see, Maine doesn't have that. And so then what I did here is I went to forms under claiming property, and some states they'll just have like, hey, if you want to help people, you can click this. Affidavit and agreement supporting claim by authorization for another person. This might be it, actually. The undersigned, to claim property on behalf of another person or trust. Maybe not. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to, let's see, where's the lead stash? Hold on, guys. Let me go into Surplus Fund Mastery. So in Surplus Fund Mastery, we have like this spreadsheet that basically breaks down all the rules for all the states and all that. If you guys don't know about this and you guys are in this program, by the way, you guys are behind the curve here. Surplus Warrior lead stash. Here we go. Okay. So we're looking at Maine. So we want to find Maine right here. So must be a private investigator purchase, $75. No fine or fees for 20 months. Fees for compensation. Okay, so in Maine, you can pay $75 to get the lead list. Okay, and then private investigator only licensed through state police. So Maine is not a good state because Maine, you actually have to be a private investigator. This is why it gets kind of confusing because California, you have to be a private investigator. Maine, you have to be a private investigator, right? So Maine, you have to like get registered with the state and take classes and all that. So I just wouldn't do Maine. But that's basically what you do, man. You just go on Google, you search your state, and then search your state name, and then unclaimed property, and then boom. Basically what you do. What's the difference between current cash balance and reported balance? So current cash balance is the amount that they have in cash. It's their current cash balance. And then reported balance is if they have other assets that are valued in, like, what's a good example? Like if they had like stock ownership in something and it hasn't been turned into cash yet, then that's what a reported balance is. At least that's my understanding of it. I could be completely wrong, but I really only pay attention to current cash balance, or really the overall balance. So, yes. All right, guys, going once, going twice here. More questions. Again, I'm happy to stand here as long as you guys want and answer any question you guys have. That is my job for you guys today. Answer anything you guys have. Any question? Anything. All right. Oh, here we go. So on the form, do we list the reported balance? Yeah. So Adriana, like what I would do is so you're saying that it's two different balances then for the same client. I would just put the reported balance, and I would just send it in, and that should be fine. You should not have issues with that. Hopefully that makes sense. That was informative about registering. Please demo the state of California. Well, dude, the state of California is like the one inside the private investigator course, so I don't think I'm going to do that. I think you can do that on your own. But it's the same process. You just type in, I mean, you literally do, like, that's all we talk about in the private investigator course. Like, just go to California State Unclaimed Property, click the link. California is really easy because all you do is you just send someone an email with like some really basic information, and then like 2 or 3 days later, typically, maybe sometimes even like within the same day, we've had people, they get an email back and that they're approved. And then once you're approved, you basically just start, you get the lead list and you start reaching out. Is there a cap on how much you can collect in a month or year? No, but there is a cap percentage, which I'm sure you're aware of, Adriana. It's 10% in California. Every state's different. Something else that this does is like we have all the max commissions. Again, if you guys are in Surplus Mastery and you guys are not using it, who's this right here? Oh, customer support. It's my customer support team's on here. You'll see like every state's different. So California is 10%. Arizona is 30%. You see Alaska's 10%, $500 and above, and 20% below $500. So every state's different. But in California, it's 10%. But Reality Hedge Fund. That's weird. But no, as far as I know, there's no cap you can make in a month or a year or anything like that. I've never heard of that. So no, you should be good. All right, guys, let's see here. Any more questions? I'm happy to be in here as long as you guys want. That's so funny. It makes so much more sense now, Kwai. Oh, here we go. Ashley Daniel wants a question answered. Louisiana's giving me the runaround about it. How do I get a hold of the list, by the way? It won't let me ask questions because I'm using my phone. Oh, no worries, Ashley. Okay, so Louisiana, that's what you want to know. So Louisiana is a state that's online search only for leads, meaning that you can't actually download a lead list or you can't get a lead list mailed to you. You can only search names in like in their online portal, excuse me. So I'm assuming if we go to the Louisiana, how do you spell Louisiana? I don't even know. That's crazy. Unclaimed property. Boom. Oh, there we go. All right. So if you come to the Louisiana Unclaimed Property Department, by the way, like it's totally, every state will give you the, I shouldn't say every state. 80 to 90% of states will give you the runaround. They won't help you at all, which is why like this spreadsheet is so important, because we literally went through the process of calling every single state and figured out exactly how to do business in every single state. And it took us like weeks and weeks and weeks of phone calls. It was brutally annoying, but we did that for you guys. So anyways, yeah, so what I would do here is I would just look at my spreadsheet. State only gives amount owed to the claimant. Must wait 2 years, commission not exceeding 10%. So you can take 10% in Louisiana. Agreements must be in writing, include property to be recorded, and the fees due. So in Louisiana, it's kind of a weird state. It might be a good state to do it in, except for the fact you have to look up leads. But you have to wait 2 years, which is kind of normal. You can only take 10%, which is again kind of normal, and you have to make your own contracts. So that's what you have to do in Louisiana. And if they give you the runaround, just like you have to be stern with them, because you just got to keep calling them, because eventually they'll tell you what you need to know. But when the owner isn't within driving distance, do you send paperwork to them or to the notary? I usually just send the paperwork to them and then have a mobile notary meet them somewhere. That's what we recommend, is just to make it easier for your client, like have a notary come to them instead of having them go to a notary. It costs like $60 or whatever it is, but I don't even know if it's that much. Mobile notary. I don't know obviously where you're at, but how much is a mobile notary? 25? Yeah, it's like $50. $50. Get yourself a mobile notary. You're gonna be all good. From your experience, which states do you suggest pay the most for state and surplus funds? Well, surplus funds, there's not really a cap. Like surplus funds is kind of the, it's the more advanced version. Like we used to only teach, like surplus fund mastery used to literally only be surplus funds. That's why it's called surplus fund mastery. And then what we realized was like people that were being really successful in that, they had like a lot of business experience. Typically, some of them were brand new to real estate and all that, but most of them had a lot of business experience and they knew how to work with people. Like they just had advanced skills that a lot of beginners didn't have. And so we were like, well, crap, like that's not good. And the thing about surplus funds is it's more of like the wild west of business, whereas state funds is a lot more cut and dry. It's kind of like what you get is what you get. And it's a lot simpler. And for a beginner, it's a lot better. But the problem with that question, BizTech or BizTeek, is that like when you look at states, because I can just tell you right now what state pays the most. I can just look at this and tell you. But at the end of the day, dude, like that's not really what's important. Like what's important is like the viability of the business in that state. Because there's like states, like for instance, Arizona, I know for a fact is one of the top states that pays 30%. But they're just really, really, really weird. Like as you can see here, like power of attorney and other docs are required. Like they're just a weird state to do it in. Like New York is another one. Like New York is a gold mine if you know how to do it, because New York, they allow you to take 15%, but there's more money in New York than any other state, including California. In fact, it's almost double California. It's like 15 billion in New York, and it's only 8 billion here. And California is way bigger, and there's way more people here. I believe so. I'm 99% sure there's way more people here. California, population. Yeah, 40 million in California. And there's 8 million in New York, but yet there's double the amount of unclaimed property because New York is really weird. So you can take 15% in New York, but the problem is they're like rules regarding how you can do it are super weird, and then they send the money in New York directly to the claimant, and you have to invoice the claimant, which is not that big of a deal if you know how to do it, but it's just more complicated. So it's not about what state pays the most, it's about the viability of it in a particular state. Roland, for California state funds, it needs to be notarized if the fund is at least 1,000. Yes, that is correct. If it's under 1,000, we actually had someone in Surplus Fund Mastery get a state fund deal the other day that was $999. So he got lucky. He didn't have to. I didn't have to notarize it. Adriana, what type of claims are easiest to start with? Checking accounts, death. Dude, they're all the same. Like honestly, just make calls. Don't worry about that, Adriana. Like Adriana, you probably have a very analytical mind, like I do, and so you want to like break down everything to like its root, like path, but you can't do that. Like it's something I've really struggled with, is like trying to get everything to its simplest building blocks as possible, and then like so I can understand it. But at the end of the day, like you're never going to understand it until you just do it. So like, you know, I know you're waiting on getting approved, get approved, and then once you get that back, like just start making phone calls and start contacting people, because at the end of the day, there's not going to be an easier or worse way to do it. It's just you have to do it, you know? So it's kind of like it's like guys that like they try to like they go to a bar and they try to like, you know, talk to a girl, but or like, you know, pick up a girl and, you know, get her out on a date or whatever it is, and it's like they like sit there and like some guys they'll just go and they'll talk to her, but then a lot of guys they sit there and they like analyze in their head like, well, what's the best thing to say in the first sentence, and then it's like, well, what if she says this to that, and then I should say this, and then it's like this 45-minute conversation in your head. It's like, I mean, you just gotta eventually you just need to go over there and actually say something. And for you, it's like you just got to make the calls. So, like another question I get all the time is like, what's the best time to call? And it's like, it's the same answer. Like, just make the calls, you know? So, hopefully that makes sense. Ashley, did I answer your question, by the way? Were you happy with that answer? Hopefully you were. If you have another question, let me know. I'm happy to answer another one for you. And yes, I do not know my state populations that well. I apologize. Life is good though, guys. Life is very good. Yeah, we're moving offices. It's kind of sad I'm not going to have my view anymore. But that's life. We're getting a 1,000 square foot office so we can have room for all of our employees, because right now our employees are remote, which is kind of frustrating. So we're putting them all in one place. Not all of them, but most of them in one place. And we're getting this cool neon light made. I'm super excited. So, very, very, very excited. All right, guys. Seems like the questions are dying down. Does anybody have another question? Does anybody have another question? Going once, going twice. Again, I'm happy to be on here as long as you guys want me to. I got nothing else to do on a Thursday evening anyway, so. Adrian says, okay, no problem. Last question. I've noticed there are sometimes 2 or more owners, so is the amount listed due to each? Nice view from your office. Thank you, Roland. I know it is a nice view. It's the 8th story, which doesn't sound that impressive. Like the 8th story does not sound that impressive, but it's actually the top floor. It's kind of a short building, but I live in a suburban area, so there's not really a lot of tall buildings here. I don't know if you can see in the background where is it here? That building right there, that's a 20-story building, but it's like 10 miles away. and we're on a hill, so it looks like we're taller. All right, I've noticed there are sometimes 2 or more owners, so is the amount listed due to each or to be divided? That's a great question. I don't actually know the answer to that question off the top of my head. I think it just depends, because sometimes, or a lot of times, those people are married, and so it's really just one person. But really, I mean, the key thing there, again, is just like get in contact with one person and get the deal going, and then you can work with the state. Like they'll help. California's nice. They'll actually help you. There's states that won't help you. So I would just focus on getting a deal. Get one of the 2 under contract, and if you can get both of them under contract on the same contract, have them both signed, then you're totally fine. But I mean, technically speaking, it'd be listed. It would if there's 2 owners listed, it would be owed to both of them. But it depends on if they're married or whatever. If they're not, if they're brother and sister, whatever it is. Ashley Daniel says, how do you find the properties? Because most times it's belongings on the list. How do you find the properties? Because most time it's belongings on the list. Ashley, can you rephrase that question? Because I'm not sure what you mean. How do you find the properties? Because I don't know what you mean by that question. I'm very confused. I apologize. Happy to answer for you, but I don't know exactly what you mean there. All right. Whew. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a long day. All right, let's see here. Chris O'Connor likes my post. Thank you, Chris. I feel special now. I've got the seal of approval from Chris O'Connell. We're all waiting on you, Ashley. What's the hardest part of this business? Hardest part of this business is I mean, really, Adrian, you're asking a kind of a loaded question because I don't know you. And so I don't know, like, my personality type and your personality type may be completely different. I am what's called an ENTJ, which basically means I'm a ruthless goal-seeking, like, machine. That's basically what it means. And I'm an extrovert. By nature. And so like talking to people on the phone, like sales calls, like stuff like this is very natural to me. If you're not an ENTJ, if you're an INTJ, which is almost the same except you're an introvert, the hardest part of the business is going to be calling people. Like it's just literally going to be getting on your shell and talking to people. That's the hardest part. If you're an extrovert and you are, like, so just to break this down for you, there's E and I, just extrovert and introvert. That's pretty self-explanatory. There is, let's see your personality types. What's the other one? There's S and N. S, I don't remember what S means. N is like intuitive, basically like you're a logical thinker. T and F. T means you're a thinking, logical person again. F means that you're a feeler, meaning like you think more with emotions than with logic. And then J and P. And a J is you're a judging person, like you make snap decisions, you're very quick-witted, like that type of person. And a P means like you're not that, you're the opposite of that. And there's no right or wrong, like there's just 16 different ones. So I'd figure out what yours is. But really, like commonly, I would see the hardest part of the business is typically if you're shy, it's getting out of your shell and calling people. If you're not shy, then really the other hardest part, I guess, is just tracking people down, using the what's it called? The reverse lookups and tracking people down. I mean, really at the end of the day, like, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not a very difficult business. It's a very beginner-friendly business, and there's some businesses that are not. And that doesn't mean you won't have challenges, because if you're a beginner, it's a beginner friendly, but you're still gonna have challenges. But I mean, there's a difference between a beginner friendly business and like if you went out to try to start the next Amazon, like it's not a beginner friendly business. So it really just depends on who you are, but those are the two common ones: is just being shy, not wanting to get out of your shell, and then trying to find people with reverse lookups is the other side. Roland, follow up to Adriana's question. I saw one that has two claimants, one an individual and another a law office. Looks like an accident insurance claim. So that probably means that that's really weird, actually. I would contact the individual, work with them, get them under contract, and then contact the law office once you've gotten them under contract and let them know what's going on, because they might be owed money out of that as part of their commission or something. Not their commission, but their payment, their legal fees, whatever it is. But that's what I would do, Roland. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's see here, Ashley. Like the houses that are foreclosed on, instead of something like left in a safe deposit, how do you find the properties? Because most times. Yeah, I mean, Ashley, honestly, I don't know why you'd need to do that. That would be unnecessary. Like, you got to understand, like, the whole idea of unclaimed property is not that it's like a physical house or real estate. That's what a surplus fund is. But you're talking about state funds. And so state funds is just something of value, whether it's real estate or money or stocks or anything that's owed to someone that they've lost. And so, like, a safe deposit box might be worth a lot of money. Like, there might be $1 million in that safe deposit box that they lost. And I wouldn't limit yourself to just real estate unless you want to do surplus funds. But again, that's a little bit more advanced, and we didn't even cover that in the Killer Closer members area. So, yes. But if you want to do that, then you can sign up for a trial, surpluslist.com. And I would just buy Surplus Fund Mastery, because you're going to sign up for that trial and realize you need everything. You need contracts. You need all of that. Hi, Surplus Warriors. My name is Kawhi, and I'm looking forward to helping people claim money. Hey, Kawhi. Awesome. Kawhi, I'm glad you're finally in the right group. I'm excited. All right, guys. Any other questions here? Going once, going twice. I know I went on a rant about personality types. I apologize. But I wanted to keep it 100% with you guys. So that's what I did. All right, guys. Anything else here? Going once, going twice. Let me check Facebook, see if we got any here. Nothing yet. Ooh. All right. All right, guys, 30 seconds. Ask any question you want. Otherwise, I'm getting off. I'm going to go say what's up to Kawhi in the Facebook group, though. I'll let you guys wait. Yeah, Kawhi, you were one of our first welcome calls, actually, if you're still on. We just started doing welcome calls for Surplus Fund Mastery, so when you sign up, we have a customer support agent literally call you and walk you through the process of how to get signed up, or not how to get signed up, but like how to start, basically, and all of that. And you were one of our first ones. That's why I actually called you. It's not actually going to be me in the future, but I was showing them how to do it. So I was like, let me call Kawhi and see what's going on. Roland says, thanks, Spencer. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it then. And I'm going to give you guys like 10, 20 seconds unless you guys have like a last second question here, but I think that's going to be it. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. Our next one will be in 2 weeks. So our next one will be, if you're not in Surplus Fund Mastery, if you are in Surplus Fund Mastery, the next one will be like in a couple days. But if you're not, the next one will be on the 20th of June. So I will see you guys there. I'm super excited. I'm coaching again. I love my coaching. So hopefully, we're going to have a couple tournaments. I'll let you guys know how that goes when I get back. And next coaching call will be our last one here at the office. And that's it. Oh, hold on. We have someone on Facebook. We have a question. Kawhi says, thanks for getting the Hey, no worries, Kawhi. I'm happy to help. All right, guys. Hey, Adriana, I'm happy to help you. If you guys have any questions whatsoever for the next coaching call, you guys know what to do. Go on the Killer Closer coaching, Killer Closer coaching group, and just post your questions. And then on June 20th, our next coaching call, I will answer them for you. Come prepared with as many questions as you want. I'll be on here for 7 hours if you guys want me to. That would be kind of exhausting, but I'll do my best. So with that being said, guys, if you guys enjoyed this, give me a like, and I will see you guys. I'll see you guys on June 20th. So take care, guys.